Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the newest episode of the Student Alliance Speaker Series from the Tigger House Foundation. Before we get into today's topic and introduce our guest, don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms for notifications of the newest episode and to see more content from us. So before we begin and introduce our guest, I thought it would be nice if we just go around and introduce ourselves and give a brief description, maybe where you're from, what school you go to, just so we can all get to know each other. I will start with myself. My name is Amy Thomas. I work at the Tigger House Foundation. I want to thank Commissioner Sue Kiley for being on this call and for all of our students, ambassadors, and supporters of Tigger House Foundation for joining us. I really appreciate having you guys here. So let's throw it over to Carla.
Everybody, how are you? I'm Carla Scarabino, Chief Development Officer at Tigger House. I'm just so excited everyone could jump on tonight and hear some great stuff from Commissioner Kiley. I'm going to jump to Michaela.
Hi guys, I'm Michaela Grande. I'm an ambassador at Tigger House. I have a bachelor's and a master's in psychology from Rutgers University, and I'm currently working as a board certified behavior analyst / assistant clinical director for a behavioral health company here in Jersey. That's fancy words for I work with kids with autism. Christina.
Hi everyone, I'm Christina Henderson. I am also an ambassador at Tigger House, and I am a business owner in Red Bank. I'm originally from Colts Neck, and I'm the current Mrs. New Jersey American. And yeah, so I'm so happy to be here and listen to you all.
Coach, you want to go next?
Hi, I'm Coach Nucci. I'm from Raritan High School. I'm also the wrestling coach there, and also I'm the president of the Hazlitt's Hope Network.
Carly.
Hi everyone, I'm Carly Dietrich. I am Tigger House Foundation Student Alliance Coordinator, as well as the Addiction Navigator. So I help anyone who's struggling with addiction, including, those who are struggling and their families, try to connect them to resources that might be the right fit for them. So always reach out if you need help. James.
Hello, I'm Jamie Jablinowski. I was a speaker a few weeks ago, so I'm excited to see everybody again and participate. I work a little bit with the Tigger House Foundation, and I am a public health nurse at the United Nations helping the COVID pandemic right now. So nice to see everyone.
Awesome. How about Brianna? There's two of you on there.
Hi, my name is Brianna. I go to Raritan High School, and I'm a part of the club Rocket Lifeline.
Oh no, we froze. All right, we're going to get back to you. Let's go with Kira.
Hi, I'm Kira. I'm a sophomore at RFH, and I run the Student Alliance social media account.
Lauren.
Hi, I'm Lauren. I'm also a sophomore at RFH, and I also work on the social media pages like the Instagram and Twitter.
Cool. Dan.
I'm Dan. I go to CBA. I'm a junior, and I'm the co-president of the Student Alliance. I'll send it to Robert.
Hi, I'm Robert. I'm a junior at RFH, and I'm the other co-president of the Student Alliance. And I'm really excited to be here.
Laura.
Hi, I'm Laura O'Hara. I am the secretary to Hazlitt's Hope Network, and thank you guys for having us. We appreciate this opportunity.
We're happy to have you. Frankie.
Hi, I'm Frankie. I'm a sophomore at Trinity Hall, and I'm the secretary of the Student Alliance.
Awesome. What's up, Michael?
Hey everyone, I'm Michael. I'm an ambassador. I graduated from Villanova, and I currently work at Merrill Lynch in Red Bank.
Cool. Bobby, you're up.
Hi, I'm Bobby. I'm in 8th grade at Knollwood, and I'm new here, so
Well, welcome. We're happy to have you.
thank you.
Hello, Bridget.
Hi, sorry about that, having technical difficulties. I'm Bridget. I'm a pretty new Tigger House ambassador, and I'm happy to be here tonight.
Wonderful. Nicole.
Hi, sorry, I'm Nicole Policia. I am the aide to Commissioner Kiley.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Molly.
Hi, I'm Molly. I'm also a sophomore at Trinity Hall, and I'm also new here.
Wonderful. Matt.
What's up? I'm Matt. I'm a junior at CBA, and I'm a member of the Student Alliance.
Cool. All right, Brianna, let's see if we don't freeze this time.
Hi, my name is Brianna. I go to Raritan High School and I'm a part of Rocket Lifeline. And my name is Delaney, and we're twins, so we go to the same high school. That's our dog Murphy, and we're both seniors.
Very cool. So we have parallel things in our lives, ladies. I have twins, but they're boy girls, and I have a dog named Murphy.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
Well, thank you everybody for signing on.
Amy, I just want to,
go ahead.
excuse me. We have somebody else here that we didn't get to say hello to. The other Amy that we were talking about when we had lunch. I think she's also on this call. Amy.
Is she? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Amy. Come say hello.
I'm the recording secretary of Hazlitt's Hope, and I've heard like amazing things about your foundation. So we are very thrilled to be a part of this tonight.
And we wouldn't work without that, Amy.
And you know what? Can you guys explain to everybody what Hazlitt's Hope Network is for those who aren't familiar with it?
Go ahead, Laura.
Coach, you can explain it.
All right. So basically, Hazlitt Hope Network started years and years ago. Unfortunately, I've lost 7 of my wrestlers due to overdoses. And the victories that we have, I have about 50 or so former students that are in recovery. So many of my former students and wrestlers have gotten actually into the field of recovery, and we've kind of started a nonprofit to kind of help families and those that are struggling with substance abuse. And, it's something that kind of started off very little a few years ago. And again, I guess, unfortunately, we've grown where we work with 6 different police departments: Hazlitt, Mattawan, Homedale, Keyport, Keensburg, Red Bank. I think I nailed them all. And, like I said, we're here to help people. And, everybody we can help, or anybody that needs help, can reach out, and that's basically who we are.
Awesome. Okay, so I am super excited to introduce everybody to Commissioner Sue Kiley. When I asked for a bio for the commissioner, so I could put it on that little flyer that I send out, I didn't know what to include and what not to include. Her bio is so impressive. So I'm not even going to try to attempt to name every single thing. Currently, Commissioner Sue Kiley is the Deputy Director of the Monmouth County Board of County Commissioners. Hold on, let me get all my notes here because I don't want to miss anything. You're an executive board member of the RAIN Foundation. You're on the Monmouth County Board of Health and on the board of Modern Day Prep and the nonprofit Breast Intentions.
Correct.
Okay. And also, the commissioner's birthday was just a couple days ago. So on behalf of the Student Alliance, our ambassadors in Tigger House, we wish you a very happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. We don't need to know my age, right? I thank you so much for having me. It's really great to be here. So let me tell you a few things about the household that I live in. We have a little dog that you may hear barking because she gets anxious and comes to see what I'm doing. I have 3 grandchildren of my 11 that are staying overnight tonight.
Oh.
So it's very possible you'll see a couple of little faces poke themselves into this if I'm down here and they're getting bored upstairs. So that's just a little heads up about what goes on in this house. Yesterday I was on a Zoom call and my youngest granddaughter that was here was poking her head in and waving and hi everybody. I was like, oh gosh. So I don't know, we'll see if that happens. As far as being a commissioner, all of the commissioners in Monmouth County, and there's 5 of us, we all have various areas that we oversee or we're the liaison to. My area that I oversee is all of the health departments and the human services departments. When I say all of the health departments, everybody knows what the health department is. But did you know that the Mosquito Commission is part of the health department and the Tick Commission is part of the health department? So there's more to the health department than you might otherwise recognize. You know, they go out and do inspections of new businesses, of restaurants, etc. Then obviously there's the human health department, which is all about COVID right now. Then I also have human services, which is social services. It is the Office on Aging. It is mental health and addiction services, behavioral health, and I'm going to talk about those 3 terms in a minute. Medicaid, the food stamp program. So anything, homelessness is part of the area I'm responsible for. Anything you can think of that's a human need that we provide services for, that falls under health and human services. One of the things that I'm excited to talk to you about is the stigma-free movement. The interesting thing about this, if I were sitting here today and I said to any one of you, I have a problem, I have diabetes, I think every one of you would get it, would nod, would have some kind of a personal experience you could share with me. Some adults in the room might have the same problem. They may refer or tell me I've got a great doctor you could use. They might ask me what kind of medication I'm on. Do you take insulin? You know, just try and get as much information and have a dialogue about that. If I told you that I am a heroin addict, or I told you that I'm an alcoholic, I would get a very, very different response. And that's what we're trying to address. Alcoholism is a disease. Addiction is a disease, just like diabetes is a disease. And yet we treat it very, very differently. So the goal here of the stigma-free movement is to create an environment, to create a culture where people respect your ability to say you have a problem and ask for help, and not place judgment on you in any way because you've been brave enough to say that you need the help that you're asking. It should be comfortable for you to talk to a parent, a counselor, you know, a friend, anyone that you can confide in. That should be comfortable for you. It shouldn't be something that has a stigma attached to it. I could ask you, you know, when I say stigma attached to it, what are the first words that come to mind? What are the things you think of when you think about the stigma around addiction or mental health problems? Let's throw out some ideas, some words.
Lack of willpower.
Yep. Okay, good. Good.
Shame.
Yep. Shame. Very good. You know, crazy, right? That comes up. You know, like you're a derelict. I mean, you name it, there are all kinds of things that get associated with illnesses that we are not very well educated on. The stigma-free movement is all about that. The stigma-free movement is about helping people to accept no matter who needs help, when they need it, and be able to have an open mind and present to them the help that they might need. So we started out this initiative by first we did the Monmouth County Freeholders. I have to tell you, my dog right now is biting my foot. Hold on. Stop. Stop. God, you know, we're all human. The first thing we did was we went to the Monmouth County Freeholders at the time, we're now called commissioners, and talked about the stigma-free movement and the ability to say that we're stigma-free, that we will accept and recognize and help anyone we can that has an issue. The other thing we did at the county level was we changed the name of the addiction services and the behavior and the Monmouth mental health services. We combined them into one program that we now call behavioral health. Because the idea is to, you know, if you're an addiction services, I'm creating a stigma just by calling it that. If I say that we are part of a group called the behavioral health group, that really encompasses everything. I mean, it is a behavior, it is a disease, and it just is a better way of describing the conditions that our residents might be suffering with and they need help. So that was the first thing we did on the county level. The next thing we did was we went out to the municipalities and we talked to them. And we asked them all to be willing to sign a resolution that says that they are stigma-free. And it's really a declaration that pretty much says that we as a township recognize and respect everyone and will help anyone that has an issue that needs to be addressed without creating a stigma, without passing judgment. And that's not always easy to do, but that's what the resolution says. And the goal is for people who think they need help, want help, to be able to ask for it and to not be afraid of the reaction they might get, or the stigma or the feeling that other people will have about them because they're admitting to a problem. The goal is to get treatment for everyone that needs it. And this is part of that initiative. I mean, it's only a small piece, but many of our towns have already signed on to the Stigma-Free Initiative. And we've moved on from that to creating a group inside of the county that's also helping to get schools involved in the Stigma-Free Initiative. I know Laura O'Hara knows a lot about that. Laura's part of that group, and Laura actually got Raritan High School and the superintendent of the Hazlitt schools to sign that resolution to declare the Hazlitt school systems stigma-free. It's a big statement, and now obviously we've got to follow through with it. You can't say you're stigma-free and then shun someone who comes to you that says, look, I have a problem, I need some help. Confidentiality is so critical, because if someone comes to you and is willing to tell you they have a problem, the last thing they want is for you to be sharing their information with other people unless they're ready for that. They may want treatment, they may want you to go and tell someone else so that they can get the help they need, but confidentiality is so critical. If someone opens up, that's a very, very bold step to take. It's very bold, because we're not, we say we're stigma-free, and we want to be stigma-free, but I don't think we're really there yet in terms of a total population. In fact, I know we're not there yet. So if someone's willing to open up, we've got to go out of our way to make sure that they are accepted, that it is understood that this is a disease just like diabetes, and that we're going to do anything we can to help them overcome it. So that, in a nutshell, is really what the Stigma-Free movement is all about. I did a video that's on the Stigma-Free website and pretty much says all of that. But the key is for people who need it to seek treatment. We can't lose lives to overdose, and Lord knows we've lost a lot. We need to have people say, you know what, I need help, and then have the ability to find it quickly, and have it work for them.
Excellent. Go ahead,
So,
Laura.
so the thing that I like about the stigma-free, it's not just addiction, right? There's stigmas in a lot of things.
Right.
And speaking to you ladies with the Tigger House, I know that's what your Student Alliance is also focusing on, bullying and all of those things. So, it's just great to be able to be a part of it. And now I guess to learn how we bring it forward. Like, what do? We say we're stigma-free, but how do we push this out there now? And that's what the group that Sue was talking about is working on, different, as a community, what we're going to do. You see Knockout Opioid Day, and with the student alliances and the Rocket Lifers and all that, I see that's how it's going to work. I envision that's how it's going to work. So I think it's great.
It's, the initiative is growing across the state. But we've really done an excellent job inside of our county in trying to get all of our towns to sign on to Stigma-Free. We don't have everybody, but we have quite a few. Somebody asked me about businesses too. We have been approached by businesses who want to get involved and want to have a statement that says that they are stigma-free. So, businesses are not excluded from this. They're certainly welcome to join as well. And the more we have, and the more we talk about this, and the more we publicize it, the wider the acceptance is going to be. I think any parent that's lost a child, anyone that's suffered from an addiction, understands how critical being stigma-free is. And I hate to say it, but that group is growing, and I don't want to see it grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. We had a mom come in to meet with us about a week ago, and she had lost her son a few years back now. And the biggest piece for her was the stigma. And when her son passed away, all the people that almost looked down upon her for quite a while. And really, he had a disease, like you said, like anyone else, and struggled so much with it. And it was so hard for her. And that caused her further shame and guilt and all those things. So now not only was she dealing with people stigmatizing him, now they're stigmatizing her. So, I believe strongly in this movement.
I always start out this talk by saying, what I said. If I told you I had diabetes, you wouldn't look down on me. If I was obese, you may say, well, that's because you're so fat. You may have a comment to make, but the point is you would accept it as a disease that has treatment options, etc. And that is so far from the way people react when they hear addiction.
Totally. I couldn't agree more. And I think it's incredible what you're doing. And, it really starts with changing the stigma, changing people's ideas of what addiction is. And unfortunately, we talk about it now. I feel like it's being talked about a little bit more, but I feel like people's opinions, we still have a lot of work to do, right? People still think of it in a certain way. And it's just, again, I agree. It's just so important to really, get people to see that this is a disease. This is something that people, need to feel okay with reaching out for help for. Families need to feel like it's okay to talk about, not, brush it under the rug or, try and pretend it's not going on when it is,
Right.
because they are afraid to talk about it. They're afraid that people will think a certain way about them or, their family member that's struggling. And, it's really important that we really, make it okay to talk about. And people need to understand that it really is a disease. I agree.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. The brain of an addict or an alcoholic is very different from one that's not suffering from that disease. And we know that's proven medically, but it's hard for people to accept that, but it's a fact. Go ahead.
I was going to say in the hospital, I remember I heard a presentation once and it was like, if you saw how much money, if someone comes to the emergency room with a heart attack, how much money goes into treating that heart attack and rehabilitation and services, and the social worker comes and the multiple doctors come and they have all these tests. But when someone presents to the ED with an overdose, it's very quick kind of treatment, a couple of pamphlets, and kind of there's a stigma even right at that very critical point. And it's seen as, you know, two people can get there through lifestyle choices, between having a heart attack, between using, you know, cigarettes or other kinds of means. But if they come in with an addiction and a consequence, it's treated very differently.
Absolutely. You know, just in talking, I was talking to a girlfriend. I'm sure everyone has now heard of the story of, I'm sorry.
I just sent mine out.
Sorry, my husband just walked in, so the dog always goes crazy. But I was having a conversation with a girlfriend. We were talking about that story about the 16-year-old kid who purchased, I believe it was a Xanax. The drug dealer came through Snapchat. Did everybody hear this story? Can you just raise your hand to let me know you heard of this story? So this is a story to listen to, guys. I'll quickly summarize. This kid was 16 years old. His family has been in quarantine, laying low. He's virtual schooling. On Snapchat, somebody reached out to him with this really cool menu of different drugs that he could purchase. The dealer said he'll deliver it right to his house. I think he paid $10 for a pill. Parents had no clue what was going on. Kid was a straight A student. He was getting ready to apply to colleges, like straight path. And the parents came upstairs to check on him an hour later, not knowing anything, and the kid was dead. It turns out the drug he bought was fentanyl. And as far as the parents knew, the kid never did drugs in his life. But, you know, this story really struck a chord with me. And I was talking to a girlfriend, and the first thing she said was, well, is he a druggie? She used that word. And she said, well, is he a druggie? And I just looked at her, I was like, what does that matter? Yeah. He died from fentanyl, from an overdose, you know, and again, it's that culture. It's for how many years have we been hearing this stigma and these words associated? It's a terrible thing. Well, it's your fault. You did it to yourself, or whatever it may be. And, you know, I agree with you, Commissioner, that, you know, we all do want to be stigma-free, but it's something I feel we have to really, truly be conscious of it. When someone does confide in us, that we take that pause to really consider how difficult and courageous it is for that person to be able to speak about this and know that you're that person they see as their safe place. And then the words you choose moving forward are also very important, so that you don't, you know, make them feel even worse about themselves than they're already feeling. So I love this whole movement you guys are doing, and I am thrilled to have our Student Alliance and our ambassadors get on board with this, and we are ready to, you know, help take this through Monmouth County.
Great. You know, even the terminology, the stigma-free group created a whole vocabulary, like addict. You know, who wants to be called an addict? Who wants to be called a drug addict? The term is opioid use disorder. So, and I'm learning this because believe me, I've used a lot of the, I guess, wrong words, for lack of a better way to say it. You know, but really trying to create some awareness around the sensitivity. I mean, I don't think I'd ever want to be called an addict, even if I was. I just would rather be categorized as something else. Maybe an opioid use disorder is a little easier thing to swallow. You know what I'm saying? But there are lots of terms like that, you know, that should really be removed from our vocabulary for better options.
Commissioner, maybe
that whole list is on the Stigma-Free website, I believe.
that's what I was going to say. Maybe they should go download or look at the toolkit.
Right, exactly right.
It's a great, there's a great resource that a lot of people put a lot of work into. I wasn't a part of it, but it's very helpful. And that terminology that Commissioner's talking about is in there.
I have a question, and I'm not sure who can answer this, maybe other people on the call. So I would be nervous in high school. When I was in high school, I've been out of high school a very long time. And, you know, I'm in recovery now, but I didn't have any issues in high school. But if I did at that time, you know, being the president of this club and on this sports team and, you know, sort of a leader, if I would feel very scared personally to go to a teacher or go to someone in a school, because at that time, at least, I felt like that, like I would be stigmatized. Like there would be repercussions, definitely. Oh, that's my son. Okay. He's 4. Here he is. Okay.
We're all living real life here.
Oh my goodness. So I'll wrap it up, but it may be different now, but you know, are the educators like more aware, and how do they treat it if someone comes to, like a student comes to them today during, you know, this generation, with that kind of information? Would they be kicked off of their soccer team? Would they be suspended? I mean, those are the kind of things that I would worry about, and just really disappointing the people that I looked up to. I'd
love to hear Coach Nucci's response.
Yes,
to that.
yes.
Yeah.
So the way it would work, you know, schools do have a zero tolerance policy, but if a student does come forward and say, hey, listen, I need help, then obviously that would not apply to them. If they're at a party and they get caught, then yes, that's where the zero tolerance kind of kicks in. But if they come forward and say, hey, I need help, you know, it's kind of a law for us teachers to get that individual help.
Okay.
The difficulty, a lot of students sometimes feel like if there's a parent that has a problem, that's where it gets a little gray for us, because sometimes DIFAS gets involved, and that's where students get scared of, you know, mom needs to get help, but I don't want DIFAS involved in the situation either. And as a teacher, sometimes it's that you got to cross that line, and it gets difficult. But you know, as far as that individual or somebody that's part of a club or a team, if they come forward and say, I need help, we will get them the proper help. You know, the school will do everything, and they will not be penalized. But like I said, with that zero tolerance, when they do get caught vaping in the bathroom, even that's where it becomes difficult, because you know, you're not allowed to be you can't vape in you know, a school. So there will be some type of consequence, but we'll kind of evaluate to see how bad the individual or the student is, and then we'll try to get them the proper help. You know, I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, or, you know, even just bringing it up as an issue that I don't know if some of the students feel that way, that they would be, but, you know, or even like providing resources around somewhere where someone could go outside of the school even to seek out help, only because it would be a neutral party, you know, something like that might be, you know, helpful.
Each school has a SAC, student assistant counselor, that usually handles all of these situations, and all of it, it's all confidential. So any student that has a problem, or you know, even family member that may have a problem, everything is confidential. So they can go speak to that SAC anytime. You know, our SAC is in our building every day, you know, so no matter what time a student wants to go down, they can go see that counselor at any moment.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Also, I think the person who's asking for help is really taking a huge leap of faith.
Yeah.
And you have to do that with somebody that you believe you can trust.
Right.
You know, that's the key.
Coach, correct me if I'm wrong. Are a lot of schools mandating trainings for educators? Because I've worked in schools before, like contracted in, where they mandate their staff to have like suicide prevention training and different trainings so they know how to handle the situations. Is that true for all schools or no?
Yeah, every teacher, I believe in all schools in New Jersey, have to take online courses for, I think there's 10 different things that we get certified in. One is drug education, one is mental health, one is teen suicide. So yeah, there are 10 different things at the start of every year. Every teacher is, you know, required to pass those courses. So yes, that is true.
Good question. Even down to the elementary level. I teach first grade. I do the same exact training.
Wow.
Okay.
When I worked in Orange in the inner city, I had children, we had show and tell one time, and a little boy brought in a joint. And so even in kindergarten at that time, he knew what to do with it. He knew how to roll it. He knew how to lick it,
Wow.
light it up. And so even down where you would even think that you wouldn't deal with it in kindergarten, first grade level, I'm still trained just as much as he is. So it starts early intervention.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's good to know.
Do any of the students have any questions? Go ahead, Frankie.
This is a question for the commissioner. It's kind of a random one, but I was just wondering if, like, when you were growing up, you knew what you wanted to do, and like, did you know that you wanted to go into this field?
That's funny. Well, yes, I always wanted to be a nurse. And I did become a registered nurse, and I worked in nursing for a while. Then I left nursing and I went into sales and marketing, of all things, but always in the healthcare field. So I was still dealing with doctors and nurses and hospitals. And then when Superstorm Sandy came around, everybody remembers that. I was working in my community. I stopped working for the company and I was volunteering. And I enjoyed it so much, being able to help other people, that I decided I wanted to do more of it. So I retired from my job. I can't believe I did this now that I say it. But I did. I retired from my job. I ran for office in Hazlet. I became eventually, first I was a committee woman, then I was the deputy mayor, then I was the mayor. And Brianna knows about mayors because her mom is the mayor now in Hazlet. But anyway, I did that, and then I ran for freeholder. And when I got to the freeholder spot, ironically, I took over Health and Human Services. So I feel like I've made a complete circle, and I'm right back to the things I loved about nursing.
Wow.
Wow.
That's awesome.
It's been a really great career. I've had great mentors. I highly recommend, if you guys don't have them, find them. And make them challenge you to be better than you could ever thought you could be.
Thank you.
So I did just want to share that, you know, I'm out there in the community. I always say feet on the street. A lot of people come to me, you know, as the addiction navigator, for help. And, you know, I had a aunt just this week trying to help her nephew. And she said, you know, I could post on Facebook, if I broke my leg, anyone have the best orthopedic? And then everyone just starts sending out their best orthopedic and their experience with them, 5 stars, 4 stars. But she said, I don't know what to do. She said, I wouldn't talk to anyone about this. You know, my nephew's struggling from heroin. And she said, I don't know what happened, but when I was at work, I just turned to a nurse next to me and she said, like, what's going on? And she said she just opened up about it. So like something, and I always get emotional when I talk about this because I'm dealing with it daily. And you know, my whole thing for like 2020 was turn to the person next to you or behind you and ask them if they're okay. They might open up to you, they might ask for help. But sometimes you just have to turn to someone and say, what's going on in your life? Can I help you? And that's kind of what happened with her. So, you know, I'm helping them navigate things. And most of us know on this call that if the person struggling is not willing, I mean, that's the biggest battle that we all try to fight. You can't drag someone into rehab. You can't make them go. Of course, there's court-ordered treatment, rehab, but it just doesn't work that way. People don't usually get well that way and make that lifestyle change. But it's so rewarding what we do because, on the flip side of that, I shared this the other day, I get calls from parents that will say, I have my son back. And just those words, and seeing from helping someone 5 months ago to where the conversation has changed, to how they talk to their son or their daughter or their wife or their husband, and the words that change. So like that stigma, even in the course of 3 to 4 months of them going through treatment with their loved one, there's a sense of understanding. So it's pretty powerful. So I think it's amazing, what's happening, and I'm really excited to see where the world will be, in a few more years, because I feel like this is something that's sticking and it's going to take off. So
Beautifully said.
Thank you. Very passionate about it and here to help always.
All right. Does anyone have any more? Well, before I ask if anyone has more questions, I just want to say, we asked Commissioner Kiley to come and speak to everyone tonight because we're going to be tasking our Student Alliance and our ambassadors to reach out to a business. We're saying two things, and we'll talk about this more at another time, but just to get you guys thinking in your heads that we want to get stigma-free pledges signed and cover Monmouth County if we can. Carla had put in the chat the website for Stigma-Free Monmouth County. It lists, I don't think it's up to date because I know Tigger House, we signed it and we're not up there yet. Yeah. But it lists all the places that have signed so far. And the only high school that is listed on there right now, I believe, is just Raritan. No one else on this call is your school listed. So that's a great starting point. Again, we'll talk about this in another meeting, and we'll all strategize how we're going to go about approaching our school administrators, business owners, towns, mayors, whoever you think this is beneficial for, which I think everyone. We are going to strategize how we can do that. And we're going to follow through with this throughout the year and hold like an awareness campaign with that business or that town or that school. And we'll work through it as the year goes on. But I wanted Commissioner Kiley to come on and give us the whole backstory and what it's all about, so you guys could really understand it. So knowing now what's going to be happening, does anyone have any other questions about that or about the commissioner and how she got to where she is today?
I have a quick comment or a thank you. So I actually also volunteered as a nurse around Hurricane Superstorm Sandy. And it pushed me into kind of this infectious disease emergency response nursing. And I was talking to the group a couple weeks ago about mentors, and sometimes you have a mentor that you don't necessarily talk to, you just see someone that's done it before you, that's kind of can be a guide. And I remember, I think we actually spoke early on in the coronavirus pandemic because I was interviewing for the Two River Times about an update or a status. And I remember reading through your bio and being like, oh, she's a nurse, she did this, like it's possible. So I think it's funny as a parallel, because I was speaking a couple weeks ago about how sometimes a mentor is somebody, just someone that's done it before you and shows you it's possible. So I just wanted to share that's very inspiring, because it's different than, what the average kind of person gets to in their career, and very much from a nursing perspective, seeing that stigma from the medical side, and then also in my personal life, it's a battle I think well worth well worth fighting. And it's great that we're starting to have these conversations about stigma, because I mean, certain things, other diseases like HIV and AIDS used to have really terrible stigmas too. And we've seen that kind of decrease over the years. So I do think it's possible, you know, and these, you know, every kind of footprint really starts to help. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I completely agree with you. I've functioned as a mentor in big corporate organizations, and I've also functioned as a mentee. You know, I gain, and all of you will gain from either role. The goal is to just challenge your mentee or your mentor and pull the best you can out of that relationship. And it's very worthwhile. One more thing I want to mention about the Stigma-Free Initiative. As you are able to sign people on, let us know. Nicole is at the bottom of the screen, at least on my page. She's my confidential aide. And if you call into our office and you let us know that you signed up businesses or schools or whatever, I will send a personal thank you to them for signing on. So we've done that with many already. We did it with the municipalities. We'll do it with businesses and schools. You just have to let us know.
Awesome.
That's great. That's great. Good project for us too, I think, right, guys? Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You know what's helpful? If you guys look at Commissioner Kiley's YouTube video on the site, it's very helpful. And when you go out to talk to maybe your superintendent or your principals, show them that video. And it really does, for me, for Hazlitt, it did sell the, it just explains it so well. And it was just well done. So
Thank
show
you.
them that.
Thank you. We have our in-house public relations group to thank for that. They did a fantastic job.
Very good.
Awesome. Well, if no one has any other questions, Commissioner Kiley, thank you so much for coming on tonight. We really appreciate it. We love everything you're doing for the county, for the Health and Human Services. We didn't realize it was such a broad spectrum. You know, everything that's in chaos these days is everything you are handling. So
And the
we thank
chaos
you.
has nothing to do with me.
The what?
The chaos has nothing to do with me.
No, we know, but we thank you. You're working hard for all of us, and we truly appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I really enjoy, and I think Nicole will tell you, it's very satisfying to be able to help.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everyone. I'm going to sign
Thanks,
off.
everybody.
Thank you. You too.
Thank
Have a
Good night,
great
everybody.
night.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Take care.